Hello and welcome back to NRL Nostradamus. Today we're joined by a very special guest, Bryson Goodwin. How are you today, mate?
I'm good, boys. Thank you.
Got our co-host, as per usual, Dicko. How are you, buddy? Ready to
Mate,
rock?
I'm great. I am great, mate. Ready to go.
Yeah, good. Now, Bryson, bit of a weird question to start off with, mate.
Yeah.
What'd you have for breakfast?
Oh, man, I don't have breakfast. I don't eat
At
breakfast
all?
ever.
Yeah, right. Is it a intermittent fasting or something? Or
It's not hungry in the morning. Coffee for me. That's it.
That's
Even when I was playing footy and that, it sounds wrong, but I just never ate, even before training and stuff. I wouldn't eat breakfast. What would I usually just take a muesli bar in the car or something like that? So,
Yeah, really?
yeah.
So what time's your first meal normally?
Today would have been about 11:15, I reckon.
Yeah, wow. Far out. I would have keeled over by that stage.
He's a coffee man, mate.
I'm just
Perfect.
used to it now. It's not like I'm trying to do something out of the ordinary. It's just something I've always done.
There you go. I know a few people that are like that anyway as well.
Favorite breakfast, Pop-Tarts, chocolate.
Pop-Tarts, chocolate.
Yeah, mate.
Give them a crack.
I have, so.
Oh, how good. Now, diving straight into rugby league, Bryson, mate, what's your earliest memory? Was it always rugby league or was there other sports sort of?
No, well, I grew up in Western Australia, so heavy AFL-dominated town. But, yeah, my earliest memories of everything is rugby league. Like, Dad played football, older brothers played football. So, sort of just still grew up around it, hey? So, yeah, it's just rugby league for me.
Yeah, yeah. Now, speaking of your dad,
yep,
he played for Australia, but you played for the Kiwis. What's going on there? There's obviously some background there, and blood in the family.
Nan's a Māori, so I mean, Dad, I don't think he ever really had the choice, really, did he? So back then, when he played for Australia and that, he grew up in Australia, and yeah, he was just playing there. So his thing was he got selected for Australia, so he played. I'm sure if he had the choice, who knows what he would have chosen, but. Yeah, when I got a few phone calls off Steve Kearney and asking if I would play and stuff like that, and then I'd played in a few tournaments prior to that anyway as a younger kid, older brother and mates and everything like that for like New South Wales Maldies and things like that. So I was always sort of in there and about, and I'm so glad that I did make that decision to play for the Kiwis because I met a lot of great people and learned a lot about the culture and everything, so.
Yeah. Did your dad support New Zealand or Australia now?
I couldn't tell you. I have no idea.
Both. We'll just say both of them. How's that?
Both.
Both of them. As long as it's a good game.
Yeah, that's it.
And what about clubs? Who do you support growing up there?
Oh, man, I supported the Raiders, Canberra Milk.
No way.
Right.
Yeah. Well, they were winners, hey? So.
Yeah, true.
Like I was in Perth, so we didn't really have a team. And then the Raiders, my favourite player was Laurie Daly. So, obviously, just love the Raiders. And they had Big Mal, Sticky and Brett Mullins and I could rattle them all off. But
what about Germ? Fan of Germ?
Sean Wolford, yeah. But Raiders when I was young, and they were in all those grand finals, and then the Perth Reds, Western Reds came in, so just straight away became a fan of them.
Yeah, yeah. And you lived over there, obviously watching, the Western Reds. Your brother played for Western Reds, is that right?
Yeah, he would have played a handful of games for him. Yeah, Luke.
Yep. And then you moved to Gaimea, or in Cronulla or the Shire. Junior club, Gaimea Gorillas. Were you always a centre/winger?
No, well, I was always a bit smaller when I was a kid. I played up in age my whole life with my older brother. So I actually used to play in the middle of the field and that, just I don't know, for some reason I like playing lock. So I was playing up at age my whole life, and then.
So you could tackle.
Yeah, I could tackle. Yeah, and then, I stopped growing probably at about 13, 14. I didn't grow much. I didn't stop. I didn't grow much. Everyone else did. And it actually became a bit hard for me. And then, but I stayed in Perth for a bit. Mum and Dad moved over with my brother who signed at the Sharks. I stayed in Perth for a few months. I moved back, and then I moved to Sydney when I was I would have been turning 16, and I think sort of in that period from when I stayed in Perth and they'd moved over, I'd sort of shot up a whole heap.
Yeah.
Did a lot of my growing later, and then it was probably the best thing for me to not go through the junior system in Cronulla or in New South Wales, because I feel like a lot of kids can be judged at a very young age. And I mean, if I was judged at that such a young age, then I would have missed out for sure, because I wasn't between.
You wouldn't have been given a sniff.
I wouldn't have been given a sniff, and everyone would have sort of forgot. So I've come in at 16, 17, and then I'd grown a bit then, and sort of into a centre winger. No one knew who I was, which was good, and it was just a whole new chapter for me. And I guess I just got a bit better and better as the time went on.
Yeah. And have you always been a goal kicker?
Yeah, well, I just spent plenty of time down the park kicking goals as a kid. I used to find that, but me and my brothers, would go down the park and kick goals all the time. Mum would take us down or whatever. So spent plenty.
Did you enjoy goal kicking?
I did. I always found myself in a team though that had better goal kickers, with Haslam.
Fair. Yeah.
And then Adam Reynolds when I joined South. So I kicked when good, and so I always.
Yeah, you followed on from Hazem El Masri in 2010, I think, and not a bad person to follow on from. Did you feel under pressure there, or?
Oh, not really, because I did a lot of kicking with Daryl Halligan as well, practice and stuff. So he put a lot of confidence in me and stuff as well. Kicking to me was natural. I think the best kickers are just natural kickers. It's almost like a golf swing. Like everyone's different, and I think you can't really teach a perfect style of kicking. You have to kick and adapt to how your body lets you kick. So, and it's just a natural thing for me. So,
And so you made your debut for Cronulla at 21, and you actually finished your career at Cronulla. What was the experience like in those early stages at Cronulla?
Well, I loved it. I come through Jersey Flag at Shark. And I thought I did really good in Jersey Flag. I scored something like 40 tries in about 2 years, I reckon. So, and then I actually moved to St. George. I'd signed for St. George for 2 years, and I don't know, I just didn't really fit in down there and didn't really like it, to be honest, that much. So actually, and Sticky tried to sign me to go to the Roosters. That same year. And so I did a year down at St. George. I wasn't really happy, and I rang Sticky. He was at the Sharks at the time, and I just rang him one day, and I was like probably the most nervous and the hardest call I could make, but I don't know why, because I rang him and he just said, "Mate, come to training tomorrow." I was like, "Oh, what? Awesome." So I ended up down at Cronulla, and I played first grade that year, So,
nice.
it was just, I guess it's just being in the place where you're happy and stuff like that. So Sticky, I liked being under Sticky and Jimmy Dimmick. I'll always love those two for what they've done for me. They gave me my chance in first grade when they really didn't have to. So, I had a broken leg, and then 2 weeks later I played first grade, So,
I was about to ask you that question. You literally broke your leg. Long before your debut, somehow miraculously got the job done.
Yeah, well, I think I had a crack in my leg, so I was out for about 6 weeks or so. And then I played a game off the bench maybe when I come back, and I was sort of just like, what the heck, why am I coming off the bench for? But I'm not thinking I was good or whatever, but I was like, well, it's just weird, putting a winger or centre on the bench. I played a full game, and then the week after I'm playing first grade. So,
right.
I'll tell you, just opportunities, and try to make the most of that opportunity, really. So,
it's about, isn't it?
And then fast forward to 2009, you move to the Bulldogs. You actually scored 2 tries on debut for them, and you ended up scoring 20 tries that season. You made the prelims, and you made your debut for New Zealand. So what was that season? That must have been the highlight of your career, was it? Or
fair season.
Oh, mate, I just felt, I don't know, a lot of us moved to the Bulldogs that year, like Josh Morris, and I knew him, and then Noddy moved over at the same time from Sharks, and I think it was Ben Hannett, Mick Ennis, Greg Eastwood, David Stagg, I think Michael Hodgson, maybe. There's a whole heap of us. Yeah, I don't know. And I just sort of, when I went there, I just sort of felt a part of it. And then I have to admit that was like, at that stage, I was like, some of the hardest training that I've done. And I was just sort of, I felt real good even going into the year. And I just felt good, mate. And then just, one thing led to another and had a good
Who was
year.
the coach at the time?
Kevin Moore.
Kevin Moore. And did he instill that hard yakka mentality or?
Well, he's just an old bulldog, isn't he? He's like part of it. So
Yeah.
I loved it. I love that old bulldog way of train hard, you play hard. I think it brings out the best in people. It also toughens you up a fair bit mentally and physically. But also had Jimmy Dimmick there as well. So he keeps coming back into the conversation. But he moved from the Sharks. He helped me get my first grade debut. He went to the Dogs. I ended up signing there with Jimmy as well. So I don't know how much to do with it, but mate, it's a good year for myself, I must say.
Do you feel like that's where you played your best footy at the Bulldogs?
I do and I don't. I think I had a few different stages through my career. I thought I was very young and still I'm not immature, but I was just loving footy and just doing whatever. And then I thought I did play good and I was scoring tries. And then even towards the back end of my career at the Dogs, where it was 2012, I actually thought I was playing really good footy there.
Because Desi was the coach at that time, wasn't he?
Dez, and I actually felt I was playing really good, but I got injured, mate, and then just didn't work out. But
tell us about that injury, because you injured your spleen and it was like almost career threatening.
Yeah. Well, it was just a nothing knock, really. Just chased the kick and just got knocked in the guts. Got winded. Felt like I got winded, but it just never went away. And it was obviously a bit more painful than getting. But just didn't go away. Went into the sheds. I had to come off. Went into the sheds. Just started to feel real dizzy and all that sort of stuff. And that's why I'm really grateful for our nurse Michelle at the Bulldogs. She clocked on pretty quick to what it possibly could be and made them call the ambulance and everything like that. And she looked after me really well. And mate, I'm thankful she was there that day because she was great, mate. Got me to the hospital and ruptured spleen and had some surgery and that. But I was lucky that I got to keep it and only like a little bit's gone. But it's not major right now.
So was it just an unlucky knock? Was it just like a routine sort of? You've probably been knocked there many times before. I would have thought.
Grubber kick. That was all. Chased a grubber kick. We sort of collided with each other, just like and then I don't know.
Right. And then ended up with a ruptured spleen.
Just right on the spot, I don't know, So a tough few weeks in hospital, but I was in hospital for about a week, so intensive care for a few days and just to make sure.
Right.
So it was all right, yeah.
Jeez.
Full on. But 2013, mate, you signed for the Rabbits. So under Madge, and you played for them till 2017. Now, 2014, you were part of that premiership squad. What was that like?
It was great, mate. Yeah, like obviously for myself, I was disappointed I didn't play, but it's a difficult one because I got injured. It seems every year the team makes the grand final, so I get injured, So I snapped my elbow during the year. I ruptured. So that put me out for a while. Obviously, like I came back towards the very end of the year, but like a team's just smoking everybody, and I don't know, the feeling inside that camp sort of, you just never felt like you're ever going to lose. Like you just sort of, I guess Penrith feel the same way for the last 3 years. So I think the team and you just sort of knew that, we're on something special there. So
because the following year, 2015, you can tell you were unlucky in 2014 because you actually won the Roy Asatasi Members' Choice Award. So that's the best player of the season voted by the members. That must have been a pretty cool accolade to get.
Yeah, it was, mate. It's always nice getting those accolades. Being voted off the fans. That's always nice. It means they say appreciate you and stuff, but I feel I played pretty here, and I think we made the semis that year. I think we sort of fizzled out a little bit. We started the year absolutely fire. We literally just won everything, and we just sort of fizzled out somehow at the end of the year. But no, that's footy, but I guess,
Yeah. Now, fast forward 2018, you go to the UK, play for Warrington for a couple of seasons. What was that experience like?
Oh, that was unbelievable. I loved it. Yeah, the family, we were unsure like what it was going to be like or how we'd like it, but I just went over there with the mindset of like, what have we got? Nothing to lose. Sort of thing. Like, we could have stayed here at South for a year, but let's go to England. Just try something new. The kids are young. Mate, we went there and said, yeah, my wife loves it, loved it. The kids loved it. We moved home and the kids were crying when we moved back to Sydney. No more holiday in Europe, that's why.
Everything's so close.
What was the comp like over there?
That was great. That's what I mean. I really enjoyed the football. I enjoyed it being because we're in a town, obviously the town of Warrington and that, and they really love the footy. There's so many great people over there and they're so nice. They're passionate. The football was good. It was tough. It's sort of a bit different, but the competition was good. And, mate, yeah, I loved every day. And then having Steve Price there as our coach, like another Australian guy that maybe we're on the same wavelengths, and he made everything. I don't know. I got along well with Pricey there, and also all the other boys that were there too. Like, and I actually got some good friends that were English as well, and which really helped. So we became great friends like Steph Ratchford and a few others, and that, you know. So, like, yeah, I don't know, man. I'd move back over there in a heartbeat. Sometimes wish I went earlier. Sometimes wish I stayed longer, but then you just never know. Like, I could have stayed, and COVID hit, so it would have been terrible. Like, so
yeah, true.
Yeah. So, what made you come back? Because you obviously came back, finished your career at the Sharks.
Yeah.
What was that easy to come to that retirement decision, or?
I again, I could have stayed there, had a contract offer and that, but I don't know, couldn't come to sort of an agreement. And then I don't know, I just thought if I come home, I've had an offer to come home, and if maybe I can play there, and then just sort of can be an easier road into retirement, maybe, instead of just coming and not knowing what I was going to do. Sort of that helped, you know. So.
Yeah. Now, who was the best player, in summary, that you've ever played with and against?
Oh, the best player, and I have to say, like, is Greg Inglis.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah,
I knew you were going to say that.
Oh, man, like, just to see the things he can do and that, like, he's just he's built different. Like, his physique, and he's very special. He's a very special player. But then
natural.
Yeah, and then but to play against, like, I didn't like playing against Sam Burgess. Who's had to run near him? Well, I don't want to run at Sammy and that, but luckily enough, I got to play with him too. Played against them with Sonny Bill.
Yeah, right.
He was amazing as well, you know. But there's so many good players in the NRL, but they're three that sort of stand out to me.
Yeah, just intimidating figures.
Yeah, they're just big, but, you know, they're big and they're strong, and they're intimidating. Yeah, mate, they're all obviously world-class players. So
I probably see the game differently to what you sort of did, or most footballers do, don't they?
Yeah, well, Greg definitely. He's a fullback centre, won grand finals at 5'8", probably anywhere he wanted to play, maybe. But then Sam and Sonny, like, man, they both went and played for their country in rugby union as well. So
freaks of nature.
Yeah, that's there. So
amazing talents. Now, what about coaches?
Yep.
Who's the best coach you've had?
Oh, that's tough, eh? Like, because again, like, I did well under Madge, and I love the way Madge coached me because I needed the hard coach. And the preseason that I did under him one year in 2013, the first year I was there, that was hard. Like, that was probably the hardest one I've ever done.
Yeah,
that was hardcore, and I loved it, and it was good for me. But then, like, I'll always remember, like, Aaron Raper. I had Aaron Raper when I was in Jersey Flegg, and I feel like my game went to a new level sort of under him. Yep. So for him, I always remember what he did for me. Like, he made me the player I was. So also then Jimmy Dimmick and all those sort of guys, and mate Kev Moore, who I had at the Dogs as well. So I'll never sort of forget those guys as well, because coaches I've had great, mate. Sticky was great for me. Obviously I had Des for a year. and Madge and that, mate. So they were all great.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, what about funny stories about teammates or yourself? Have you got any funny stories? Want to throw anyone under the bus?
No, not throwing anybody under the bus. Not these days, anyway. There's too much. What am I? Social media and that, doing podcasts and that. Now, I'm not throwing anybody under a bus.
But you've got plenty. You just don't want to tell us. I like it. Yeah, I like it.
What about pre-game rituals or superstitions? Did you have?
Man, to be honest, I was pretty relaxed before games and whatever, like, because I just always felt I'd put the hard work in already during the week. So for me, going to play football was fun, so I didn't need to worry about it. And I never work, like I'm playing next to guys like Greg and stuff like that. So I worry about my job, and that's all I've got to do.
Yeah.
Man, the only thing I usually had was usually I'd have Subway every day, or like game day if I could.
Yeah.
Nice.
What was your go-to?
Usually just a teriyaki chicken. Two cookies and a Coke.
Yeah.
And then I still do it this day, but I always just I always put my left sock on before I put my right sock on. I still do it all the time anyway, but that's just become superstition.
Been the same.
Just what I just do anyway. So
yeah, right.
Probably a bit weird, but I always just do the left first. So.
Nah, mate, I'm the same. Right before left though, the other way around.
Yeah. Right.
Always. Now we're going to do a bit of a mini quiz, mate. We're going to ask you a couple of questions.
Yeah.
They're questions that we think you should know, but you may not know. So no pressure. Everyone's done quite well so far in this segment. So it could be a good laugh depending on how well you know yourself. But before we get into it, mate, we've got a bit of a merch pack that we're going to send your way as well after the episode. T-shirts, hoodies, caps, stubby coolers. So yeah, we got some gear for you, mate, that we'll send your way. So appreciate you coming on. All right, first question. How many games of first grade have you played?
180 something.
Yeah, 180. Wow, roughly. What about combined between?
Super League as well.
League as well.
213. I don't know.
244. Easier question for you. What about tests?
There you go. Test 10, I think.
10. Yes. Yep. We'll give you that. Yep. The first one was a bit hard.
At least he hasn't Googled himself.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, that's true. Now, this one you should know. How many tries have you scored in your career across NRL and Warrington?
100 and something, 110 maybe.
100 exactly. 100 exactly.
Is it? Yeah, there you go.
Exactly 100. So there you go. 74 in the NRL, 26 in Warrington.
Right.
That's a good effort. That's awesome.
Yeah. Now, I mentioned earlier you made your debut for the Bulldogs. You scored 2 tries. Do you remember who that was against?
Yeah, Manly.
Oh, easy. Everyone did that one. Were you playing centre or wing?
No, wing.
Wing. All right. Last 2 questions. What was the score in your debut test for the Kiwis against Tonga?
I think they came back a little bit, but I remember I scored a couple of tries in. I kicked goals that night. So
you got 20-odd points, I'm pretty sure, that game.
Yeah. I'm going to say about 40 to 22.
Oh, my goodness. For a throw at the stumps, that's not a bad effort. It was 40 to 24.
Oh, yep, I've seen that somewhere to be that close, yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant.
That's brilliant. That is brilliant.
Now, this is only going back 4 years now. So you played the All-Stars game, which was been super cool for you, 2020. Yeah. Who was the captain? This is a bit of a 3-part question. Who was the captain for your team? Do you remember?
It would have been, is it Corey?
No.
Yeah.
I'll give you a hint. He was a winger as well. Yeah, DWZ.
Yeah, Dale. Yeah.
Yeah, Big Dale. Yeah, he was the captain that night. Do you remember you guys won?
Yeah.
30 to 16. Do you remember who the man of the match was? Had an absolute blinder.
Jerome Hughes, was it?
Nah, the hectic cheese.
Oh, cheese, yeah.
Yeah. What's he like? Bit of a loose cannon?
No, he's good, mate. He's great.
Good
Great
value.
value.
Great value.
There you go. No, good stuff. What was that like? What was the All-Stars camp like?
Oh, bro, for me it was unreal, because I just come back from England, got a call, go into camp. Again, got to learn more about the culture and everything and stuff, and got to spend a week with all those boys. You learn so much. Had an amazing time. Again, the kids got to come up. They were probably too young to see anything with the NRL before any of that, and then for them to come up and be a part of like that showcase.
It was on the Gold Coast, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was on the Gold Coast, and then they all run on the field, and so they loved it as well. And so for me, that was pretty special. Yeah, it was unreal.
Yeah, that would have been awesome.
Last thing, mate. What's next for Bryson? What are you doing with yourself now? Have you got any exciting plans for the future?
Oh, mate, just doing player management now. So really enjoying it, putting it back into the game. Looking for the young talent out there, and just trying to give back to the game and look after, and probably just pass on some of the lessons that I've learned through from playing and being around football for so long. I have a interest in helping them and watching the players go through and hopefully achieve their dreams. So that's where I'm at right now, mate.
Yeah, good stuff. It's awesome to be giving back to the community. Well, I appreciate you coming on, Bryson. Thanks heaps, mate. And stay tuned for when the episode drops.
No, will do. Thank you for having me. I had a great time. Thank you.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.